Hello, my quilting friends. My name is Leah Day, and I am doing some ruler quilting on my decorative stitch quilt. So this is the Ditcher ruler, and it has nicely spaced 1/4 inch lines, 1/8 inch lines, and lots of slots and areas to help us quilt evenly spaced lines. So what we're going to do is use the edge of the Ditcher ruler to line up right with our decorative stitches. And I've got a ruler foot here on my machine. You want to make sure to always use a ruler foot when you're using rulers. It's kind of dangerous to you and your machine if you don't. So I just carefully push the ruler and the quilt all through the machine at the same time. Now you don't have to shift the quilt if you don't want to. I did mark because it's really easy to misjudge your spacing. So I did mark where I'm changing direction. And that is exactly 1/4 inch from my decorative stitches. So I've got a little mark right here. I'm going to stitch right up to that mark. And what I love about this, it's a little bit faster, a little bit easier. I don't have to shift the quilt. I don't have to rotate it around. I just move my ruler and I press that firmly against the quilt. I press that firmly against the ruler foot. And then just in this case, pulling the quilt towards me. Very natural feel. And I'm just pressing firmly down with my hands and pulling with both hands downward. Not only wearing gloves, but I also have some true grips on the back of the ruler that really helps to grip the quilt and not let the ruler slip. So as for stitching along the decorative stitches, it's really easy. I mean, you have that edge of how wide the decorative stitch is. You can clearly see that. And I have actually stitched this once before and already filled it with a free motion quilting design. You can see how that looks with just one line of quilting. I think that's really pretty. In this particular case, Piece Paisley, you really needed those edges. You needed that outline to that square in order to stitch along. It really wouldn't work to try and stitch along the decorative stitches. So let's actually take this square and continue doing more ruler quilting. I'm going to stitch just a little diagonal line to get inside of this block. And I'm just going to stitch until the edges of my foot line up with the line we just did. Got to remind myself I don't have to rotate the quilt. I'm so used to rotating my quilt around, right? A lot of walking foot quilting got me used to rotating the quilt, but you really don't have to when you're ruler quilting. Now, just one thing to keep in mind, some machines really don't like to stitch backwards, and in certain directions, left to right can sometimes also be a little bit tricky. So just watch out for that. If you notice that your thread is breaking or shredding when you're quilting in one particular direction or another, no big deal. Just rotate your quilt if you have to stitch in that direction for a long length of time. And with time, you'll start to figure out, okay, what are the limitations? What can you do? Where do you need to rotate? But I love being able to use this Ditcher ruler and just line back up with that line I just stitched. And you can see I've got perfectly spaced 1/4 inch lines. And again, this is just adding that buffer. It's almost like a little frame, creating a little bit of space, a little rest for your eyes between that busy decorative stitch and what will probably be another busy free motion quilting design in this square too. So it's nice to have that little bit of a buffer, and I really like adding those straight lines to this quilt. I really think there's a lot to using our decorative stitches, but I just haven't had any practice with it, right? I just never have had the opportunity to really play and see what works. So that's what it looks like when I stitch 2 lines. You can keep going. You could even spiral inside. You could keep going as long as you wanted to. But I think that's a great place to stop. I'm going to stitch this and fill this with another free motion quilting filler. So make sure to follow along. Find the next video in this little mini series, leahday.com/decorate. Until next time, let's go quilt.